This is what you can look forward to on episode 439 of Skywalking Through Neverland.
Guess what? You don't need to read the comic because we're going to read it for you.
Yep.
And show you all the pages.
Wait a minute. The Death Star was supposedly built by the flappy...
Geonosians.
The Geonosians. They don't need handrails because they can fly.
They can fly. Okay, see? Right over Scooter's shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
It's that same shot, and Luke Skywalker has autographed it.
Yeah. His weapon falls. The hand that grasped it will never grasp anything again.
That's poetic.
Yes, but when we ride the Millennium Falcon ride at Disneyland, I always want to be a pilot.
I just want to watch.
I want to be in control of where we're going.
Are you ready?
Welcome to Neverland.
Here we go.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land.
When I first made Star Wars, everybody in Hollywood said, well, this is a movie Disney should have made.
You're more than just fans. You're family.
Best day ever!
It's about family, and that's what's so powerful about it.
Hey.
When you use a bird to write with, it's called tweeting.
When we visit the world of Disney, we never grow old. It's a Peter Pan, Never land that keeps us young in heart.
This is Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you are skywalking through Neverland. I have a good feeling about this.
Hey, Skywalkers! Will Lando Calrissian save his friends from the clutches of the evil Empire? Will Luke Skywalker find out a long-kept secret from the villainous Darth Vader? Will Daredevil defeat Johnny Punk? Well, all that will be answered very shortly, but until then, we want to welcome you back to
Skywalking Through Neverland.
I am Richard Woloski, but now everyone please say hello to my sweetie wife Sarah, who's already prepping for Halloween 2024.
Yeah, no kidding. Halloween 2023? Check. All right, time to move on to Halloween 2024 and the Run Disneyland Halloween marathon that we're getting.
Yeah, that's going to be when, like July?
Yeah, early September. It's really random, considering that the Wine and Dine Half Marathon in Walt Disney World is on October 31st next year. Like one of the days. Yeah, I don't know. It was very odd.
Who's planning this?
I don't know.
But then again, doesn't all of the Disneyland overlay start on that first weekend of September, the first couple of days?
This year it started, I want to say, September 10th. And the half marathon weekend happening next year starts on like September 5th. It's like 5th through 8th. So I think we're going to be the first to experience Halloween overlay. And the whole thing, like when a race is themed, then people tend to dress in the theme. So I think it'll be really fun to see running costumes of like hitchhiking ghosts and Madame Leota and like all the like Halloween things. Like Mickey's, like, ooh, wouldn't it be cool to see a bunch of skeleton dance like runners?
It will. However, as we know, in Los Angeles, it's hot until November.
Yeah.
It's like in the 80s.
Right, but
and
it's in the
it's
morning.
Halloween Eve right now, and it's in the 80s.
Right. But this will be happening at like 4 or 5 a.m.
That's
in
true.
the morning, so it'll be nice and cool. It'll be 50s, 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it'll be fun.
Oh, the skeleton dance runners. That would be really fun.
Wouldn't that be so cute?
Oh, yeah. I'm looking forward to that.
So I'm looking forward to just seeing that. I'm planning to sign up for the 10K and hopefully the yoga in front of Disneyland Castle if possible. So if you guys are signing up, I want to know. All right. Well, we are your enthusiastic podcast destination for the many decades of your Star Wars, Disney, and Marvel fandom. So imagine a big Wookiee hug from all of us to you and a sprinkle of pixie dust for our family of Skywalkers. And before we move on in this episode, we are streaming this live on our YouTube channel. And I want to give a shout out. Kelly Turkel has tuned in. Hey, Kelly.
Hey.
And obviously, Subdude has tuned in. Hello, my sweetie wife, Sarah and Richard. Very cute. And Skywalkers Academy, September 5th is your birthday.
Well, happy belated birthday for 2023 and happy early birthday for 2024.
Mm-hmm. Yay. All right, well, in this episode of Skywalking Through Neverland, we are talking about classic Marvel Star Wars comic number 44, Duel, a Dark Lord. This is the 6th and final part of the Empire Strikes Back comic adaptation. So after we cover this 6th issue, we are then going to release our Long Beach Comic-Con panel where we did a live presentation of the issue Death Probe, which immediately follows this issue. So now we have new characters to explore.
All right, now we are being sponsored by Small World Vacations, and they are a diamond-level Disney vacation planner travel agency. It can help you book your trip to a Disney park around the world, and best of all, this service is free. Yep, you heard me, free of charge. So head over there to smallworldvacations.com for a no-obligation price quote and tell them Skywalking Through Neverland sent you. All right, now we are recording this from Long Beach, California on October the 30th, 2023. Happy Halloween Eve.
Wait a minute, what's our countdown to Halloween, Richard?
Oh, you asking me this time?
Yes.
I know this. 1 day. 1
or
day. Or
less than 1 day.
9 hours.
Yeah.
9 more hours until Halloween.
All right, what is everyone's go-to Halloween movie? Mine is Pirates of the Caribbean. I really love the Curse of the Black Pearl, the original one. Mm-hmm. It's really fun to watch on Halloween. And I discovered that randomly because I had it playing when people were coming up to the door, and I'm like, this is a really awesome movie to have on. What about you?
I was going to say, well, the go-to would be Halloween with Michael Myers.
Okay.
Not starring Michael Myers, but with Michael Myers. But I would say the Paul Lynde Halloween special.
Oh my God.
That and the Monkees horror episode where the monkeys go to a haunted house.
Yes.
The monkeys get tangled up with Wolfman and Dracula and the Mummy.
That one's so cute.
Yeah.
I really like that one. Obviously, I've watched them because of you.
Mm-hmm.
I would never have seen those if not for you. And last year we watched the Paul Lynde Halloween special.
Yeah. You know, even though that's my go-to, I feel like I need to go to it maybe once every 10 years.
That did not hold up.
Not whatsoever. Not whatsoever. But I just saw somewhere on Facebook that there's a shower curtain with that Paul Lynde Halloween special logo on it.
Oh my gosh.
And they're like making posters. So apparently this is now like a big thing.
Okay.
I'm not saying we're responsible because we have been talking about this for the last couple of years. But all of a sudden, there's a lot of merchandise all around the Paul Lynde Halloween special.
Okay, well, Rex Gordon seconds Paul Lynde.
Of course.
And Kelly Turkel really loves Casper.
Oh.
She just watched it. And, of course, Hocus Pocus.
Oh, that's a given.
You know what? We just watched the Hocus Pocus 25-year special on Disney+. That was so fun. It was very cute.
The Freeform special.
Yeah.
And we just watched Hocus Pocus too.
Yes, which honestly I really enjoy more than the original Hocus Pocus. I think it's so cute.
When you've been waiting, 30 years for a follow-up, your expectations are just so high.
I just love the part where they appear, the black flame candles lit by
witches,
a virgin.
The Sanderson sisters.
The Sanderson sisters appear in the forest and they're singing, blah, blah, blah. And then one of the girls is like, who are they singing to? Which is exactly the thought that was running through my head.
I love when characters break that fourth wall.
It was so amazing.
All right, now we got to discuss what happened today in Star Wars history.
Yes, we do.
This is the big one.
Uh-huh.
Everyone sitting down?
Yes.
11 years ago, on October 30th, 2012, this is the day that shocked the world when the Walt Disney Company purchased Lucasfilm for $4.05 billion. But wait, there's more news. Just when they dropped that news,
oh, yeah.
more news came. Mm-hmm. Star Wars Episode 7 was announced for 2015. Then they released some more information. That'll be followed by 8 and 9.
Mm-hmm. A whole new trilogy.
This promise that George Lucas had made way back. Well, he promised 10, 11, and 12.
Right.
The next sequel.
Next iterations.
Yes. But then he pulled back and said, you know what, there's going to be a 7, 8, and 9. And now we got 7, 8, and 9. It was here. It was confirmed. And then they said that George Lucas will stay on as creative consultant on the new films.
Yeah.
That didn't last long.
No, that did not happen. No. Oh, I remember this day.
When people the older generation than me, they'll always say, "Where were you when Kennedy was shot?"
Right. Oh yeah.
And everyone shares their stories.
Or when someone landed on the moon, or
or
the moon landing.
Or maybe my generation, like, where were you when Wham broke up?
Right.
But now we have a new "Where were you" moment. Where were you when you heard this news?
Yes. Let us know in the comments, Skywalkers. This will forever be linked to Halloween with us because we were at a Halloween store.
The Spirit Halloween store.
That's right, in our local mall. And you were looking around at things, and my Twitter dinged, and I looked, and Disney buys Lucasfilm for $4. I was like, Richard! I yelled across the shop because we were aisles away from each other.
I'm like,
it's
okay,
Richard!
what did she find? What costume does she want to wear?
Richard! And we found each other, and I was like, is this true? And I showed you the tweet, and then we looked at the links, and we're like, what's happening? Oh my God! And episode 7, and there's new Star Wars. How do we feel about this? Oh my God! It was just this crazy moment.
Yeah, so we had to go back to the Cerritos Mall today.
Yeah.
To just relive that moment. And then we were like the town criers. We were going from store to store. There was a collector store over there. Mm-hmm. And we ran in. Guess what, everybody? We're ringing bells. Guess what? Lucasfilm was just bought out by Disney. We're getting more Star Wars. And everyone gathered around what are you talking about? What's going on? And so spread the word, everybody. Get it out there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So happy that day because we didn't think we were ever going to get more Star Wars.
Yeah, we thought it was overall a good thing. I mean, it's a little bittersweet, like George Lucas, basically giving it away. But if any company is going to take it over, George Lucas has been working with Disney since 1987. And I know, it's just really cool.
At this point, we were getting Clone Wars.
Right,
So we were getting Star Wars, but Star Wars up on the big screen. This is back when we liked to go to the movies.
Right.
How things have changed. Mm-hmm. But yeah, now that Lucas said he will never do another Star Wars movie. That's it. He wants to stick with television, and right now he's just focusing on the Clone Wars. But now we just saw this whole world opening up.
Right.
There was so much possibilities, and it's Disney, so TV shows, more merchandising, more everything, more Star Wars.
And Rex Gordon said that he heard the news as I was watching the Paul Lynde Halloween special. LOL. No, really, I was at work and saw it on my social media. Way to call back, Rex. Love it.
Rex is the king of callbacks. This was back when we actually used Twitter.
Oh, yeah. No, it was.
Once again, my, how things have changed.
Yeah, I think 2017 was the death of Twitter for me. But yeah, it was Twitter was good at that point.
Yeah,
Now
so many
X.
happy memories with that. And once again, I know we've said it before in the show, that Lucas gave away most of that $4 billion to charity.
Yeah.
Way to go, George. Way to go.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now speaking of sharing.
Yes.
Let's move on to Things We Want to Share.
Things we want to share. Things we want to share. Things we want to share.
All right, this is a reminder, Skywalkers. On Friday, November 24th, which is Thanksgiving weekend, we will be at LostCon, and we will be hosting a pop culture trivia challenge strikes back game show with prizes.
This will be at 8 p.m.
At 8 p.m.
Good time on that Friday night.
And this is at the Marriott downtown, or at the Marriott in Los Angeles, right by LAX.
Yeah, the Marriott LAX Hotel.
Yeah. And we are also going to have our books there, and we are working on some holiday special deals for that event. Our Today and Star Wars History books. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the interactive notebook.
Yes.
So come one, come all. Can't wait to see you there. And is that the only convention we have coming up? No. Because here's a little preview. We are submitting a couple of panels for Emerald City Comic-Con. And this is held in Seattle. And this will be on leap year of next year, which is February 29th.
Yeah.
That weekend. We're submitting 3 panels. We're gonna submit our Star Wars Trivia Challenge Strikes Back, our Pop Culture Trivia Challenge Strikes Back, and I can't wait for this, Classic Marvel Star Wars Comics, the first expanded universe story breakdown.
Yay.
That will be the third panel that we are going to be proposing.
Yeah.
And in this panel, we're going to break down the first ever story that can be found in issues 7 through 10. This is the story arc where Han Solo and Chewbacca, they hire a band of mercenaries, including Jackson, to protect a local farmer. The first ever expanded universe story arc.
These are from 1977 through 1978. Yes. So hopefully, because this was really fun to do live when we did it at Long Beach Comic Con. So hopefully we'll be able to do one or all three of these panels at Emerald City Comic Con, and we will let you know, Skywalkers, what happens.
So we got to jam, these 4 issues, 7, 8, 9, 10, 4 issues in like an hour.
It'll work out. It'll be fine.
We'll hit the high points.
Also, I want to make an announcement that Neverland Clubhouse, Courtney and Kelly Turkel, will be at MouseCon this weekend. That is in Concord, California, which is kind of like middle California. And it's going to be this Sunday that they will be there. And there's also, I think you guys are going to the Disney Family Museum on Saturday and things like that. So if you are heading to MouseCon, make sure to say hello. Also, Joey Pittman of the Disney Universe podcast will be there too. So super excited and glad that you guys are going to be there.
All right, I can sense another Neverland Clubhouse episode brewing there.
Which can always be found now on the Skywalking Through Neverland podcast feed.
All right, so now before we move into classic Marvel Star Wars comics, let's hear from 2 more Skywalkers who sent in their 10th anniversary messages. Now we'll start with Teresa Delgado, your one-time co-host of Fangirls Going Rogue.
Yes.
Then we're going to play Josh Milrad's message, and Josh was a guest on an episode, the Kenner Kids episode, where he was in the Snowspeeder commercial from 1980, and then he was in the movie The Beastmaster.
Yeah.
So he became a good friend of ours, and he sent in a 10th anniversary congratulatory message.
So first of all, let's hear from our friend Teresa.
Hey, Sarah and Richard. It's Teresa. Oh my gosh, 10 years. That's incredible. As a fellow podcaster that podcasted for 10 years, I know exactly how you're feeling, but the most important thing is to look around at the community that you guys have created. Y'all have an incredible community. Y'all could do meetups anywhere in the world, I bet, and people would come, and y'all are achieving so many of your goals that you guys have had over the years, and even going beyond some of those goals. So I am so proud of you. I am glad to have been a part of your show periodically when I've gotten to come on or contribute something, as well as just being your friend. So I'm in for the long haul. So let's go another 10 more years, and I will be right here supporting you guys from Texas. All right. I hope you guys have a wonderful anniversary, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Aw, thank you, Teresa. And yeah, she's been on our show a number of times. Most recently, I know one of the episodes you should listen for is the Encanto episode, when we really went into a deep dive into that movie, and, you know, Teresa being of Latin descent. Yeah, thank you. She had a lot to say about the subject and did a lot of research herself on that. So that episode's a really good one to listen to. All right, Skywalkers. Well, this is Josh Milrad.
Through deep meditation and deep contemplation about the ways of the Force, it's come to my attention that we're approaching the Skywalking Through Neverland's 10th anniversary. Congratulations, Sarah and Richard. Here's to the next 10 years, and may the Force be with you both, always.
The best part about that was, at the end, he got his lightsaber and trying to kill that cricket.
Oh my goodness, that was so funny.
We've been with you there. We got a cricket problem too.
Yeah, no kidding.
But thank you very much, Josh, and thank you very much, Teresa.
Yay.
Skywalking through classic Marvel.
Now, if this is the first time you've heard our classic Marvel Star Wars comics breakdown, or if you're new to the history behind the comics, well, recently we've been giving little bite-sized information on the background on the Star Wars series. So let's discuss the timeline, okay? Now, there have been 107 issues of the Star Wars comics, and this is the original 70s and 80s Star Wars comics. 107 issues that ran between 1977 and 1986, and there were 3 annuals, which are separate stories from the series storyline.
Now, okay, so classic Marvel comics ran for 9 years, but there's only 3 annuals?
That's the problem. Yeah. I don't know why they didn't produce more of these annuals.
Okay.
But maybe to them an annual is every 3 years. Okay, so now, unlike Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back adaptations, which were incorporated in the Marvel canon story, the Return of the Jedi adaptation was a 4-issue miniseries. This was a separate 4-issue miniseries, not part of the Marvel Star Wars timeline.
Oh.
Which is peculiar that it was only 4 issues, because it's a longer film than Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
And it only includes 4 issues, whereas the Star Wars and Empire adaptations contained 6 issues.
Interesting.
So it'll be really fun. Here we go. It'll be really fun to get into these issues at some point. But you know what? Maybe to close out 2023, which marks the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi, we should cover those issues.
Oh. Oh, we gotta get on that.
Yeah.
Oh my.
That pretty much covers December.
Yeah, no kidding. Yes, it does.
All right, now from 1985 through 1987, Star Comics, which is an imprint of Marvel, they published 2 series based on the animated Ewoks and Droids TV series.
Aww.
And they both had a very short run.
Okay.
All right, Ewoks had 14 issues and Droids had 8 issues. Now, I gotta reveal something. This is when I first started reading Star Wars comics.
Wait, oh, you mean like actually reading them rather than looking?
They were like kind of my speed.
Oh, really? Do you have them?
Do I have them? Of course I have them.
Can I
You're not
going
to touch any of these.
Please, I want to read them.
Including this issue right over here.
Oh,
no. Yeah, so this is, I had a friend Henry, and we'd go down to the Outer Limits comic book store. I would get the Ewoks and Droid series. He'd get the hardcore Star Wars comics, which way too much reading. Whereas the Ewoks and Droids had like 4 words per page. And that was my speed. Then I thought, wait a minute, maybe I should go back. That was a springboard, a gateway into reading the Star Wars comics.
Oh.
So maybe I should go back and start reading some of these. And I did.
That's so cute.
So thank you to the Ewoks and Droid series.
Wow.
Now, there were two mini digests that came out in 1981 and 1982 that reprinted in full color stories first printed in the Marvel UK Weekly Star Wars comic. These were the little Reader Digest size comics.
Does that mean that it's smaller comic or bigger?
It's
bigger.
It was a small book, like the size the size of a TV guide.
Oh my, okay.
I would even say maybe even smaller. For those of you who grew up in the 70s, 80s, early 90s,
yeah,
you get the TV guide. But this may be a little bit smaller than a TV guide.
Rex says that the minis had cool stories.
Oh, very much so, because the Star Wars series in England were weekly.
Oh.
Ours were monthly, so they got more stories than us.
Oh, yeah, they did.
So Marvel said, hey, why are we just going to print them in one continent? Let's bring them over here to America and make some more money off of these, which they did.
Yeah.
I love these. I love these series. All right, now, from 1987 to 1988, Star Wars publishing rights went to Blackthorn Publishing, which released a 3-run issue of 3D comics.
Whoa.
And this was big because this was during the dark ages of Star Wars. So to see a new Star Wars comic was just huge, because at this point the Marvel run had ended.
Okay. Right, yeah, because 86, right?
Yeah,
86 was they
yeah.
ended. And this was before the Timothy Zahn novels, which was 91.
Not many people had them, but they knew about them.
Oh, okay.
Because this is one of the many things, one of the only things that came out for Star Wars merchandising in this dark time.
Right. Okay. Wow.
Now, I remember getting one of them, but I don't remember getting the other two. And in fact, I know I didn't until I had to get them at a comic book shop years later because I didn't see them released. Oh. So I don't know how well the sales were, and maybe
they weren't distributed properly or something.
Maybe they weren't distributed to like John's convenience store.
Right.
Maybe to just comic book stores.
Huh.
So I missed out on them, but luckily I got them later on. And the 3D is what you would think the 3D would be in the 80s. No, just get a blue and a red lens glasses, and it never really worked.
It wasn't that good, yeah.
All right, what's Rex saying over here?
Okay.
Rex is saying in the Sky Chat, yes, for some reason I saw the second, but not the first or the third.
Yeah, and he never bought the 3D ones. So, yeah, how odd.
So now, 3 years later, Dark Horse Comics acquired the rights to publish Star Wars comics in 1991 and published over 100 Star Wars titles until 2014, which at that point, the rights reverted back to Marvel to keep everything under one Disney umbrella.
Which makes a lot of sense, yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, that's some fun background on that. And I was just never a comic book reader growing up. I was just always a novel reader. All the pictures were in my head.
Well, plus the Dark Horse comics, the panels weren't really panels. There was splashes of scenery. So it's like, where, you know how you say, where does my eye go? Does it go left to right?
Yeah.
This was a very confusing comic. I just didn't know. I didn't know how to read this one.
Right. Okay. It was like too artsy or something.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So now with each following classic Marvel Star Wars comic episode that we do, we'll give a little bit more background information on the comics.
Little history lesson.
Yes.
I love it.
All right, now with that, let's move into Duel, a Dark Lord. Once again, this is the 6th issue of the Empire Strikes Back storyline. And now, like I do, I take you through these classic stories, share memories of reading these comics as a kid, and get you caught up with these characters and situations that every Star Wars fan must know. I just mentioned Jackson and Hujib.
Yes.
Everyone here should know what those are.
Absolutely.
As we've noted in the past, there are several connections and parallels to the Star Wars recent comics, films, and novels.
All right, and then I'm reading these comics for the very first time. As we talked about, I was not a comic reader growing up, and so I'll share my 21st century opinion on these comic book pages. And also, since I'm an artist, I love to share my artistic thoughts on each of the panels as well. In fact, I find it kind of hard to read comics because part of me, the narrative part, wants to just read everything, but then I have to like step back and then just look at the artwork. I can't take it together. It's hard for me to take together, which is why it's always hard for me to read comics. I don't know, but
I had the opposite problem when reading novels because I'm trying to visualize what I just read.
Okay.
And that by that point, it's like, okay, what did I just read?
Yeah, exactly.
It takes me so long to read a book.
Yeah. So anyway, throughout this, I'll be sharing my artistic thoughts and comparing the various styles that the artists bring to it. Now, as a reminder, our last issue, number 43, was Betrayal at Bespin. And Han took the damaged Millennium Falcon to Cloud City in hopes to get help from his old friend, Lando Calrissian. To save his own hide, Lando gives over Han, Leia, Chewbacca, and 3PO to the Empire. Han is encased in carbonite as Luke Skywalker races to Cloud City with hopes to save his friends.
All right, now this issue, number 44, Duel, a Dark Lord, was released on November 25th, 1980. So at this point, if you're keeping track, we are 5 issues away from when Sarah was born.
Very, very close.
We're getting there. We're getting to that finish line.
Yes.
And in 10 more issues, we'll be at the halfway point of this Star Wars Marvel series.
Oh my. That's crazy. Like the whole series.
The whole initial Star Wars Marvel series. It's only taken us 8 years at this point.
I know. Oh my gosh. Well, this comic was written by Archie Goodwin and is based on the script by Leigh Brackett and Lawrence Kasdan from the story by George Lucas. Artwork by Al Williamson, Carlos Garzón, and Glynis Wein.
All right, now the cover is by Al Williamson and Carlos Garzón. So let's take a look at this. We're over here up on the screen.
Yes.
You know, if you're listening and watching this on YouTube, you're getting the full glory of this issue.
Yes.
All right, now here it says, "At last, the incredible conclusion of the official comics adaptation of The Empire Strikes Back. Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader duel with a very explosive background." Look at this.
Yeah.
I love this. Oh, can I go first with my comments?
Sure.
I loved this comic, this cover as a kid. It pulls you right in. There's so much energy that it just compels you to pick up this and just start reading. Vader's cape is flowing, almost wrapping around Luke Skywalker, who, for some reason, has got 2 lightsabers.
Wait, who does?
Luke. He's
Why
got
does
one
he
on
have
his
2?
belt,
Oh!
and he's holding a lightsaber.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even notice that.
No, this problem happened all the way up to Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
A lot of artists, not just Marvel, but on posters, you would see Luke with 2 lightsabers. He's not General Grievous, people. He only needs 1 lightsaber until he loses a hand and the lightsaber. Then he'll need another one. Yeah, so I'm loving this color. Once again, it just pulls you right in with that hyperspace kind of tunnel.
Right.
With all those colors.
Yeah.
Very hypnotic.
Yeah, and I have to say, are you...
Oh,
Can
yeah.
I go on?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so also, you guys who are watching right now, please type in your comments on this cover. We'd love to share them on the YouTube version of the show. So I want to say that we have finally broken this string of boring covers.
Whoa. Did you see Betrayal at Bespin?
That was a terrible cover.
No, come on.
It was terrible.
Did you see the bounty hunters with Bosk in his purple jumpsuit?
The bounty hunters
on.
was cute, but the previous episode was just not. Look at this. Look at this cover. There's no focal point here.
But it has a pink sky.
And it's got something from Naboo, which didn't exist at that point, so I don't understand. All right, now this cover, this is a cover. This is what I'm talking about. We have eye-catching and fun. You have Vader and Luke dueling. That is all that is needed. And that's all that's on this cover. And where their lightsabers are clashing, you get that starburst effect happening, right? And I also love, you mentioned how Vader's cape is enveloping Luke. Well, I feel like, yes, it is, and it's kind of mirroring Vader's intention to bring Luke over to the dark side and rule the galaxy together. Like the cloak is almost like Doctor Strange's cloak and kind of has its own agenda here.
Very sentient.
Yes. And this starburst that's coming from the blue and red lightsaber clash here, it takes over the entire background. And like you said, it draws your eye right to that central point. So I love that. I also love the use that the artist is doing something a little different here, which is the background is bright and your 2 focal point center characters are dark.
Oh, they're silhouetted, yeah.
Yes, and that's what actually draws your eye to that focal point, whereas usually you'd have like the dark star background, right? And then you have your light ships or whatever it is. So I really like that. It's really stands out, and this must have really caught the eye of kids on the spinner rack.
It did me.
Yeah.
It did me. All right, going on to John's. Give him my 50 cents. Give me my Duel of Dark Lord comic.
Yes.
Now I would say that of all the Empire covers,
okay,
this is the best one.
I will second that, definitely.
And in second place would be the second issue with the AT-ATs looming toward Luke Skywalker, who just crashed in a snowspeeder.
Okay, I like that. All right, Rex weighs in and says, "It's cool. Vader's cape needs to calm down, though."
All right, so we put this cover out on our Facebook page and the group, and like always, we want to incorporate all the Skywalkers into everything we do, including commenting on this cover. So first, let's start here. Oh, I think we have a comment here by Rex Gordon.
Oh,
he says, "The battle we have been waiting for." Wow.
Absolutely. All right, then Mike Moriarty weighs in. Marvel classic Star Wars always had over-the-top covers, but it almost looks like an old-school 3D color scheme with the red and blue. I'll have to read this one for sure. And man, to have those 50-cent prices today. Sign me up.
Well, Mike, guess what? You don't need to read the comic because we're going to read it for you.
Yep.
And show you all the pages.
All right, Wesley Paul Mecomb says, I love the colors of the background. The artist made Vader a giant. He's already tall, but placing him further back in the frame than Luke and drawing him bigger makes him look huge. The image is symbolic to what's going on in the story. Vader's cape looks like it's trying to grab Luke and bring him in. Join me and we can rule the galaxy as father and son. Wesley, we are on the same wavelength. He goes on, the lightsaber color accents in Vader and Luke are nicely done and hint at what's going on. Most of the accents are red, even on Luke, hinting at his dark side, but he's still got blue in him. Okay. Nice, Wesley. And Wesley is an artist as well. All right, Richard, do you want to read this one?
All right, this next one comes in from Cato Toby Ryder. He says, as a Ledo, I think it's pronounced, practitioner, this is the traditional Japanese art of the sword. And I'm sorry, Cato, if I'm pronouncing that wrong. This is something I am noticing immediately. From this illustration, Vader is left-handed. Oh. His left hand is above his right hand on the Suka,
I would say.
Suka, the grip of the sword. That is the way that is most comfortable for a lefty. I'm actually a lefty myself, although I am also able to wield the sword like a right-handed, because that's how we all have to learn at first. I wonder if photos of Vader and Anakin from the films and TV shows are canon. Do they also show him as left-handed? You know, that's one thing I've never really tapped into.
I have never noticed that, yeah. Well, I know, okay, so when Vader cuts off Luke's hand, I feel like he's bringing it from his right side slashing to his left, because it's Luke's like right hand and it's like he slashed that way, right? From right to left.
Right.
On Vader, from Vader point of view. But when he's reaching to say, I am your father, you know, it's his left hand that he's reaching with. But that's, you know, facing the camera, so it looks better. but I don't know. So, Cato, you bring up a good point. Does anybody else have a comment on that? Have you guys noticed if Vader is left-handed or right-handed?
That's why we love putting this out to all the Skywalkers, because you have different perspectives, which is great.
Yeah.
I love that. All right, with that, let's get into the story. Now, the splash page shows a preview of what's to come with Luke and Vader crossing lightsabers. So, Sarah, go ahead and break down this artwork here.
Wow, yeah, this almost, again, is like another cover, this nice splash page here. Vader's back, though, fills half the frame, and he is facing Luke, who stands in a little bit of a static pose, I would say. In his Bespin fatigues, he's opposing Vader. Luke is very small compared to Vader, who's very big in the foreground. And the background is the carbon freezing chamber, but it's an odd choice to have it be pale yellow and then pink instead of the amazing blues, reds, and black of the film. And there's a giant Empire Strikes Back logo in black in the top right corner. So I found this kind of an odd choice, and it doesn't really, with the pastel colors here, it doesn't really mirror the gravity of the scene.
Now, I always saw those lights as orange.
What?
From the carbon freeze.
Really?
Not right here, but in the film.
Oh my gosh.
The lights are orange.
Oh, to me they're like red and blues mixed.
Wow. Is it a blue dress? Is it a gold dress?
My gosh.
Is it a pumpkin orange carbon freezing chamber, or is it a red one?
Okay.
Skywalker's way in on that.
Well, it's definitely not pale yellow and pink. I think we can agree on this.
In the movie? No, not at all.
No, not like this particular
And they're using smoke
frame
as a way to cover up a lot of details.
Oh, yeah, they are.
That way you would think you would see. It's like, hey, if we just smoke out the background, then we don't need to draw all that stuff in.
Okay, I did not even realize that was smoke. I just thought they were choosing to put parts of the background in and part not.
Well, it's more steam.
Yeah, that's
to be accurate.
Okay, that's ridiculous.
Now, okay, as we open, we are still in the carbon freezing chamber, this is how we left off the last issue. Lando has just announced that Han is alive and in perfect hibernation. Now, you gotta wonder why the architects here built the chamber on a raised platform. What don't you see? Handrails.
Handrails.
Or even a caution sign.
Disney did not build this.
No, not at all. Now, when you're entering the carbon freezing chamber, you need to sign a waiver.
Probably.
Yeah, because you are going right over there. So it's odd that they built such a high platform with no safety measures.
Yeah, but this is a common practice. Although the Empire didn't build Cloud City, did it?
No.
No. So
you would think that the architects, because the Death Star has no handrails.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
maybe these architects were the same ones that built the Death Star. It's like,
Perhaps.
hey, you know what? We say we cut some corners by not having handrails. Maybe we can cut a few corners here.
Wait a minute. The Death Star was supposedly built by the flappy...
Geonosians.
The Geonosians. They don't need handrails because they can fly.
They can fly.
Okay, that's all connected.
Okay, it makes sense. But now, did the Geonosians build Cloud City?
Possibly.
You know what? You could be right.
They might have, yeah.
We need a history on Cloud City. I don't think there's ever been a comic or a novel that went to the history of Cloud City. Now I want to know.
Now I do. And if it's Geonosians, then it would make more sense.
I'm all about the safety. Now, getting back to the story, Vader tells Boba Fett that Han is all his, and then orders for the chamber to be reset for Skywalker. Now, look at this composition here. I love this because on one side, you have Chewbacca with C-3PO on his back. On the other side of the panel, we see Lobot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really neat. And Vader's in the middle, and Boba Fett's over his shoulder. And yeah, I really like this panel too. It looks like a frame from the film, really. And the lighting is better too. You've got the steps illuminated like they are in the film, and a darker background, not this pale yellow. That was throwing me off.
Now, a stormtrooper tells Vader that Skywalker has just landed, and Vader informs Lando that Leia and Chewie will be watched over while they are kept here on Cloud City. And as Lando argues this, he feels a constriction in his throat. Now, in the film, Lando puts his hand to his throat, but does he feel like a slight choke coming on, or is that just what he knew what would happen if he opposed Darth Vader?
I always thought he felt a little something. Like Vader just gave him a little tinge, and that's why he, held his throat.
Okay, see, I just thought he knows what happens when you oppose Darth Vader, but how would he know that?
Right.
He was never around those Imperial commanders when
Right.
Vader choked them.
That was my reason.
Okay, and not until right now am I seeing this in a whole new light. Now when I see Lando putting his hand to his throat in the film, he is maybe feeling a slight restriction.
Plus,
constriction.
Right. Plus, if you think about it, like the filmmakers wanted to make that clear, so they're like, "Oh, Lando, hold your throat." So I think when I initially saw the film, I thought as you did, which was
like,
that this might happen.
Yeah,
but over thinking about it logically, it makes sense that he would actually feel a constriction.
All right, now Luke has entered Cloud City and he sees Han being taken away in carbonite. In the comic, he knows it's Han.
Right.
Now, I don't think in the film he thinks it's Han.
I don't think he does either. He just sees like a slab. How would he know it's Han? He wasn't in the carbon freezing chamber. He just sees something weird. He's like, "Oh, they're just moving that slab somewhere."
Right, but in the comic, he knows it's Han, and since they took a lot of this script from an original draft of the script, maybe in one of those original drafts, Luke Skywalker knew that it was Han Solo being carried away by the stormtroopers and Boba Fett. Then Luke blasts 2 stormtroopers and gives us that great publicity pose.
Yeah, look at this. And his new Bespin fatigues, right?
I've always loved this photo. I've loved the Bespin fatigues. The first time I ever saw Luke in the Bespin fatigues was on The Muppet Show.
Oh.
That came out in February of 1980. Now, up until now, we've just seen Luke in his Tatooine outfit.
Right.
In the comics, everywhere just had Luke in the Tatooine outfit. Now we're seeing him in this awesome this tan, looked very militaristic fatigues. And I just so fell in love with this. Then in the Muppet Show, we have Scooter, and he's playing a song, and behind him over his shoulder we see this publicity still. Okay, see, right over Scooter's shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
And Luke Skywalker has autographed it.
Yeah.
So
He signed it.
whenever I see this still, I always think about that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so when it comes to Luke and his Bespin fatigues, I am all over this.
Yeah, and I have to say, like, in the comic that we're talking about, I definitely recognized that publicity photo that they had basically taken, right? And I also feel that it's a really nice use of color and composition in this panel here. You not only, in the film, at this stage in the actual film, Empire Strikes Back, there's a lot of quick cut editing, and it's used to convey that frenetic nature of this shootout. Everyone's shooting at each other, and there's like all these quick cuts. But here, it's a panel, like Luke's panel is placed over a couple of other panels, so it's giving you that same kind of frenetic nature just by these panels being placed showing different angles of the same scene.
We had Paul Hirsch on the show. He edited this sequence, and this was the sequence I wanted to talk to him about.
Yeah.
So go back and find it in the Skywalking Through Neverland.com website. Put in Paul Hirsch. You got to find this, because I love this segment so much. I copied this montage structure in all my student films because it was just so just so frenetic and so much tension in this.
Yeah. So I think the comic did a really good job of portraying that.
Bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
Now here, Luke turns down another corridor only to see Leia, Chewbacca, and 3PO being taken away by stormtroopers, and Leia screams to Luke to leave Cloud City because...
Aw, and that's a good panel too. I like that shot of Leia.
Definitely taken from another publicity photo.
Yeah.
All right, Luke then finds his way to the carbon freezing chamber where he calls out Darth Vader, only to hear my favorite line in the original Star Wars trilogy.
The Force is with you, young Skywalker. But you are not a Jedi yet.
Discuss.
That one little pause.
Oh.
That one little pause before he says, but you are not a Jedi yet. It's teasing. It's teasing him. There's a taunt in there.
I like that. And the scene right there is just fantastic too.
And you hear his breath, and Luke turns around. Here Vader is just standing on top of these steps. Oh, just thinking about it, it almost brings a tear to my eye. I just love that moment so much. Then the two ignite lightsabers, and a battle long coming is joined.
That's the narration. You
Yes.
gotta love the narration. And then you gotta love this bottom panel here where Luke is flying. He's flying in midair. Look.
I don't think he's flying. I think this is an overhead shot.
Oh, it just looks like he's flying over Vader and catching him. I guess it is kind of an overhead shot.
It's an overhead shot, so Luke is more like, lunging at Darth Vader.
Okay. Well, darn.
Sorry
to burst my
that
bubble.
I'm sorry, okay? You believe what you want to believe.
I want to see Luke flying. That's so fun.
Luke doesn't fly, but maybe Vader will fly in a few more panels.
Ooh.
All right, meanwhile, as our heroes are being escorted by Imperial troops, Lando gives the command Code 47, and suddenly troops are surrounded by Bespin security guards who are silhouetted in red.
Code 47.
Code 47.
He never says that in the film. He just uses his little wrist watch, right? He do
Suddenly
and then Lobot
it appears,
blinks.
that little wrist, like the eye watch thing he has, appears and doesn't ever come back.
Okay, yeah, that's very weird. So here it's Code 47.
Yes.
It's like Order 66, but Lando style. All right, next we see a narration here, and what the translator droid's photoreceptors soon behold is the stormtroopers being disarmed. Now, between these two pages, except for these stormtroopers here, it doesn't show the stormtroopers disarming them at all, so I feel like the artist just wanted to save themselves from drawing more stormtroopers here, so they just have that narration.
Once again, they're being very...
Economical?
Economical, that's the word I was looking for.
Yes.
All right, so Lando then releases Chewie's binders, and the giant Wookiee strangles him until he tells him where Boba Fett's ship is, and as they race to the east platform, they run into R2-D2, who gives a...
Rita Blit Wadut. Was that good?
That was very, very good.
Yeah, and this is a cute panel down here below with the goldenrod and the blue.
Mm-hmm.
It's like very pretty there. And R2 finally joining the party.
So they see Slave 1 taking off, and the narration reads... Wait, hold on. Is that Slave 1? Or
Wait.
is that Boba Fett's starship?
Oh. Well,
it depends on who you ask.
yeah, it depends on who you ask and when you were introduced to this. To me, it's the Slave 1 just because that's what I knew, right?
Now, Star Wars is all about slaves. Anakin was a slave. Anakin and Obi-Wan and Ahsoka and Captain Rex were all made slaves.
Right?
In the Clone Wars.
There's a lot in the Clone Wars about slavery and...
Right.
Yeah.
So don't take that away, okay? Not every word needs to be an issue.
Vetted.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. There you go. All right, now back to the narration that reads, and the Empire allows no time to mourn the loss of Han Solo. What does that mean? Why would the Empire want to mourn the loss of Han Solo?
I don't know. It's very odd. Yeah.
I think that's one of those things that just got by the editors. Like, hey, we get this issue out.
Yeah.
No one's going to question it until 2023 on a podcast.
Yeah, some of these narrations are very odd. Yeah, like here, the narration states, Leia and Chewbacca unheedingly vent their frustration and anger against the advancing enemy. And this is what's happening. And, clearly the stormtroopers are being shot by Leia and Chewbacca, who, instead of trying to escape, are just venting and shooting at them. And now I can really see Leia in my mind's eye blasting the stormtroopers, remember, on the platform, right?
Mm-hmm.
She just keeps going until Lando's like, we gotta go.
Leia, go! Yeah. And I love the stormtroopers that are being blasted.
Yeah.
Are all in a red light.
They look really cool, yeah.
All right. Do you know what I think it's time for?
What?
A commercial break.
We'll return after these messages.
This commercial break is brought to us by Hostess Fruit Pies with the Marvel Hostess crossover story, Daredevil versus Johnny Punk.
Oh, yeah.
You heard me right. His name is Johnny Punk.
Johnny Punk.
All right.
So Johnny Punk must be the bad guy, huh?
Yes.
I hope he really fights Daredevil this time instead of the previous issues. What was it? The Marvel Hostess crossover story. We had the bad guy kind of behind the scenes, and one of his thugs fought the.
That was the last one.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So why don't you read the narration?
Okay.
Hey, do you want to take on the role of Johnny Punk?
Absolutely, I do.
And can I be Daredevil? I'll be Daredevil.
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. And you be goon number 1, and I'll be goon number 2.
Okay. Did you color code this? Because I'm never gonna remember all this. All right, but we'll try. All right, here we go. We open with rocker guy and female trumpeter rocking out on stage. Backstage, we see Johnny Punk and his 2 stage goons. In the next set, we raise the decibels to mega pitch. The high-frequency sound waves will lock their brains. They'll do whatever I command. Meanwhile, Daredevil climbs up a building and senses danger.
My hypersensitive hearing picked up Johnny Punk's little plan, and it's not my idea of crowd control.
Daredevil comes swinging into the backstage area. Goon number 1.
That's you.
Hey, look who's horning in.
And then Johnny Punk says,
Back off, or I'll blow the roof off with sound.
Oh no.
Daredevil zones in tremendous danger.
My radar senses enough electrical potential to do just that. Gotta think.
Daredevil comes up with a great plan and throws down numerous Hostess fruit pies to Johnny and his goons.
How about some Hostess fruit pies before you turn on the juice?
Oh, I sure do dig the real fruit filling. Apple and cherry, that's a dynamite duo.
And that light, tender crust.
Cut to Johnny and his goons, suddenly all tied up, but are happily eating their pies. Johnny, sharp move, Daredevil, you got us! But we got the goodies.
Better a hostess fruit pie than the fruits of crime, Johnny Punk.
With that, Daredevil goes swinging over the concert crowd.
And thanks to Hostess, I don't have to listen to this music anymore.
You get a big delight in every bite of Hostess fruit pies. The end.
All right. I'm going to call it out. There's a lot of holes in this one. Oh, first, go to Rex Gordon in the Sky Chat.
Okay.
He says, is he based on Johnny Rotten?
I don't know who that is.
That, I think so, from one of those punk bands.
Oh, okay. Okay, I wouldn't know.
All right, now let's poke some holes in this one because I'm not understanding a couple of things.
Well, first of all, this is a really long comic one. Like, I think one of the longest ones yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, Johnny Punk, he seems to be the stage manager here, or maybe a tour manager or a manager of the rockers we see on stage. But why is his name on the marquee? Look at this panel right over here. And Johnny Punk's name is on the panel. It's on the marquee.
I guess he is supposed to be the main guy, but he's pictured in this first panel backstage, which is what's confusing.
Okay, maybe he's one of another musician.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, well,
I think he's a musician.
Okay, okay, I'm just so confused by all this, so I hope maybe Disney Plus picks this up and clarifies it. No, we've always wondered this about the Spider-Man crossover Hostess Marvel comics. When Spider-Man just throws out all these Marvel Hostess fruit pies, like, where does he get them? Well, Daredevil is wearing a suit just as tight.
Yeah.
But yet we see him throwing all these Hostess fruit pies to all the goons and the Johnny. Where is he getting these? He doesn't have a pocket. He doesn't have a utility belt.
Maybe he's got a pocket on his back end. Well, we don't see his back anywhere. No, we really don't. So maybe
he's got a backpack.
Yeah, maybe he's got a backpack. There you go.
Now, the goon number 1 refers to the fruit pies as a dynamite duo.
Oh.
And this is awfully close to DC's dynamic duo, which is how they reference Batman and Robin.
Uh-oh.
So I'm curious as to, that was not an accident. So I'm curious as to why they would want to go that close to DC in their own comics.
That
wasn't an accident.
Maybe they, in their marketing, the marketers were like, okay, you need to say this is a dynamite duo. So maybe it wasn't the Marvel artist.
But then you would think that Marvel would say, whoa, we don't want to get too close to DC, and they'd fight him on that. Here's another little DC reference. We see Daredevil in the middle.
Okay.
And you can see his senses, which are these little circular
ring bubbles,
rings from his head. That's too close to Aquaman.
Oh, really?
Woo, 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 woo. When Aquaman's calling all of his sea life friends.
Oh.
Woo, 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 woo. So they're going a little too close to DC in this.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know enough to really comment on that. I'm sorry.
All right. So normally we'd say, hey, what did we learn from this? But this one here, there were way too many plot holes to be concerned with what we took away from this. Now, with that, should we get back to the story? Or do you want to delve more into the aspirations of Johnny Punk?
I think I'm ready to get back to the show.
Okay. All right, now, we're back in the carbon freezing chamber. Luke and Vader continue their battle. Luke rolls down the steps, and Vader launches through the air like some big, huge, dark bird.
Whoa, and that's what the narration states. And he kind of looks like Batman here. Mm-hmm. So speaking of the DC crossover here.
Well, they love playing with Darth Vader's cape.
Oh, yeah. But you just have to add 2 little bings points to his helmet, and all of a sudden he's Batman in this silhouette.
You know what? You take that DC talk somewhere else, okay?
Hey.
Not in a Marvel episode.
You're the one who started it.
Nuh-uh. Moving right along. Luke then uses the Force to jump up to the tubes overhead, and Vader taunts him with, "Now release your anger. I destroyed your family. Take your revenge."
So he's still going on the whole
at this point
Obi-Wan version, or Ben version of, like I killed your father kind of a thing.
It seems like when they were writing this scene, they didn't really have the end of the film. Maybe Lucasfilm said, hey, when you get to the last scene, let us know, and we'll give you that part of the script.
That would make sense.
Because up until now, we knew that Darth Vader hunted down and murdered Luke's father.
Mm-hmm.
Because this would all tie into that. with Vader saying, "I destroyed your family." So I think at this point they hadn't gotten the last few pages of the Empire script.
Rex is also making a comment. Maybe he's referring to Owen and Beru, which did cross my mind. But was Vader there for that, or it was just the stormtroopers, right?
Yeah, I don't think Vader had any knowledge.
Yeah.
He just knew that a couple of Tatooine farmers were killed.
Okay.
But I think they're playing off the whole, who is Luke's father? We all know that at this point, Vader betrayed and murdered Luke's father.
Right.
So,
okay.
yes, I don't think they got the last couple of pages of the Empire script.
Okay.
All right, now, somehow, they are in a different location.
Yeah?
Through the cut of a panel, they're in a whole different location, and this is by the big circular window.
Right.
But the continuity break is explained in the narration that says Luke does not give in to the darker emotions and presses on. What do you call that? Econo storytelling?
Yes. It's like not writing the stormtroopers or not drawing them, but just saying. Yeah.
But look at the top panel. That look familiar? This was inspired by the Ralph McQuarrie concept painting.
Bam.
Look at that.
That really was. Vader's is like almost exact right there.
It was outstretched hand.
Yeah.
I love it when the Marvel artists, they draw upon these Ralph McQuarrie concept paintings. They've done it so many times too.
It's a really good idea.
Yeah, it's right there. Use it. Use it.
Yep.
So Vader then hurls large pieces of machinery at Luke and says, "It's useless to resist. Join me or join Obi-Wan in death." There's machinery being thrown around. Luke is being smashed out the window. Do you think maybe Luke is saying, hey, Vader, can you repeat that same dialogue later on, like in the film? Did you not see the film? Don't tell me this right now because I got way too much happening.
Right.
And the sound is blowing out my eardrums. Got wind, got machinery, got glass breaking. Stop trying to give me some seducing dialogue.
Right. I can't understand this right now.
The big circular window is smashed and Luke is sucked out into the reactor shaft.
Yes. And the narration is saying, Darth Vader advances, driving Luke out onto the reactor gantry. Now, I never knew this. Is that what this is? Were you always knowing that this is like a reactor?
Oh, yeah. It said it on I believe on some of the Topps trading cards.
Huh.
And probably the Empire Strikes Back storybook.
But like a reactor, I didn't know this is like the Cloud City runs on a reactor and they're like right near it or something. It was very odd.
Yeah, it's like right above where the stem is on Cloud City.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
All right. Leia.
Oh, okay, Lando.
Because that's how they pronounce it in Star Wars. Leia. Princess Leia.
Oh, wait a minute. Rex is weighing in. There are handrails here.
Yes, there are. At this point, they said, hey, you know what? The inspector's not going to sign off until we put at least one set of handrails
on this reactor gantry.
And there you go. How often do people actually go down there? Not very often.
No, just check something.
Put it down there. That's good enough.
Gotta check something on the reactor. There you go. Okay.
All right. Leia, Lando, and Chewie with 3PO on his back. They race to get to the Falcon. R2 plugs into a control panel to override the alert system and is zapped and lets out a
Fraudwit!
The heroes then race behind what looks like Spider-Man's web.
This blue panel right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, the blue panel and the white is like the webbing. It's a very odd choice.
All right, well, they're forgetting Spider-Man. They're just getting to the Millennium Falcon.
Right.
Vader and Luke continue dueling until the Dark Lord's blade slices through Luke's sword arm. I think it's being blocked by that one tube.
Let's look at this. What's happening here? Wait a minute, it looks like Vader threw... Oh, no, that's Luke's lightsaber that's hurling.
So we're not seeing...
We're not seeing a hand, disembodied hand.
The slicing of the sword arm.
Right.
It's like in some of the, the horror movies that want to stay PG. When something wicked is happening, something gory, they'll cut to a reaction shot. Or something will pass by in front of the lens.
So instead of showing Luke's hand being severed, we get a narration that says... Pain seizes the young warrior. His weapon falls. The hand that grasped it will never grasp anything again.
That's poetic.
It is, but we don't see Luke's face even, like, in agony.
Yeah.
It's...
Now, in the next issue, number 45, Death Probe, which we did at Long Beach Comic-Con, we did bring this up because there were, like, some really horrifying moments of blood-curdling murder.
Yes.
In that issue. You could see that. You could see a droid grasping someone's face and crushing it, but we can't see Luke's hand being cut off.
No, I don't. This is so silly. I just don't understand. These are very important moments, and they choose this wide shot that doesn't give any of the emotion.
Maybe once again they didn't get this scene scripted. They just knew that Luke's hand was cut off. How's it cut off? I don't know. We'll just do an artist interpretation, keep it safe.
I don't like it.
Okay, all right.
Well, let's move on to the next panel here.
All right. Vader then reveals the horrifying truth that he is Luke's father. Even more horrifying, he says, "Search your feelings, youngster. You know it to be true. You can destroy the Emperor. He has foreseen this." Let's break this down.
Okay.
Youngster. The only person I ever heard use that word were my grandparents.
Oh. Well, I guess youngling wasn't invented yet.
No, but
he's not a youngling either.
The youngster. All right. Aside from that, this is the first time I ever really thought about this line.
Okay.
You can destroy the Emperor. He has foreseen this.
Right. This is new, right? This is new.
No. This. You heard this in the movie.
Really?
I think that just like all of the Sith apprentices,
right?
They destroy their master.
Right.
Later on, we know that Palpatine had destroyed Plagueis. And I think Palpatine knows at some point Vader is going to destroy him. I think at this point, the Emperor knows at some point Vader's going to turn on me. He's going to kill me.
Well, he's always planning for that. He's like preparing.
Right.
Because he did that to his own master.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the movie, when I heard this in the movie, I never really thought about that. He has foreseen this. For some reason, I thought he was saying he hasn't seen this.
Okay.
For some reason, I don't know why, but he has not seen this.
Oh, okay.
I didn't really hear that word as foreseen. Like he has foreseen this through the Force.
Right.
Or just knows how this plays out. When there's a Sith rule of two, at some point, the apprentice is going to destroy the master.
Right.
I'm just saying that by reading this comic, I'm starting to see new things in new light.
Oh, yeah. No, that makes sense.
Now, did you ever
I need to watch that scene because I don't remember him saying that.
Okay.
He has foreseen this. I don't remember that. I don't remember that line. So I'll have to watch the scene and get back to you because I'm kind of confused now. Huh.
Okay, well, let's move on then.
Okay.
And after this, we'll go back and watch the scene.
Yeah.
Now, instead of joining his father, Luke leaps off the gantry to certain death. But then the narration reads that Luke is pulled into an exhaust vent. All right, we're gonna stop again.
Okay.
Now, when Luke jumped off, did he know there were exhaust vents down there and they would pull him through?
He's like, I'm just going to let go to the Force and let the Force take me. So I don't think he had any idea of where it would take him.
Yeah, I don't think he really saw the end game in this either, other than I can join the dark side or I can just end it all right now. I think that he was really committing suicide at that point.
Oh, God, I never thought that. I think he was letting go to the Force.
I don't think he was tapped in that much to the Force where he could feel the midichlorians going, you know what, just jump. We'll take care of it from there.
Well, you know, after like a week of training on Dagobah, yeah. Who knows? How long was he really there on Dagobah?
15 hours.
Oh my gosh.
All right, well, luckily, the exhaust vent pulled him in,
Mm-hmm.
and he was saved for the moment.
Yes.
Now, elsewhere on Cloud City, the hero's escape is blocked. But R2 saves the day and opens the door to the platform where the Millennium Falcon is docked.
Woo.
Seconds later, the ship soars for the heavens, leaving Cloud City behind.
Aww.
However, Luke is left behind, dangling from a weather vane. And instead of a close-up of a strained Luke Skywalker calling out to Ben Kenobi, Marvel thought, hey, it'd be a good idea to pull way back to a long shot of Cloud City.
I I don't understand this at all. and we got this tiny little word bubble. What's it saying? Leia, Ben. From this part of Cloud City. Okay, now here is something that's in the comic illuminating to me, because in the movie I always thought he was dangling from the very bottom of Cloud City, like this long.
Oh, the bottom of the reactor.
Yeah, the bottom of
bubble.
the reactor. Yeah, that big long stick out of the bottom
At the end
of
is
Cloud
like a big
City.
Giant round.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
bubble.
that's where I thought he was hanging from, but apparently no, he's hanging from the upper portion of the Cloud City proper.
Yeah.
So.
And in the film, there's a very deceiving shot where Luke looks down, and the next shot is something falling.
Yes.
Into
and
the
that's
clouds.
His lightsaber, right?
No.
Or
Well,
is
his
it a
lightsaber's gone.
piece?
That's gone.
Okay.
It's part of the weather vane.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which
okay.
it goes down so fast, you don't know what it is.
Right.
So when I first saw the film, it's like, oh, did Luke just fall? No, he didn't fall. He's still back up there. What?
That was his
what
POV
fell?
shot. Yeah.
Yes.
Got
so something, part of that big weather vane had just snapped and fell into the clouds. But once again, very, very deceiving.
Yes.
All right, now the call does not reach Ben, but instead it reaches Darth Vader, who tells him that Ben cannot help him. Meanwhile, Tony Stark, in an Imperial officer uniform, looks on, hoping not to be noticed.
Okay.
Don't tell me that's not Tony Stark sitting behind there.
Oh, because of his facial hair?
Yeah, he's got that goatee.
Okay.
The Tony Stark goatee.
Okay, I can see it now. That's funny. And they really squiggled Luke here really fast. This one panel underneath that one. Leia, hear me, Leia.
And then for some reason he calls out to Tony Stark. I did not hear that in the film. That's odd. After all these years. Right now, in the fleeing Falcon, Lando says how much he's going to miss Cloud City. I kind of feel bad for Lando.
Oh, yeah.
How long was he there being the Baron administrator to Cloud City? How long did it take him to work up to that? And all of a sudden, it's all gone. All left behind. Leia then says that they've got to go back. Well, you got your wish, Lando. We're going back.
Yeah.
Now, in the cockpit, we see Leia in the pilot seat.
Okay.
I always thought that Chewie should be flying the Falcon at this point, with Lando as the co-pilot, since it was his ship to begin with.
Yeah, but at this point, Lando's kind of in their custody, so they don't really trust him to control things.
Yeah, but well, if anything, Chewbacca should be piloting.
Right. I agree with that.
Why is Chewie still in the co-pilot seat? He's like, dang, I almost got there.
I know.
I almost got to that pilot position.
Yeah.
But Leia said, nope.
Yeah, I don't understand. Yeah.
All right, now turn the page to this big, spectacular splash page.
Yes, this is a full splash page of the Falcon heading back towards Cloud City, and it's really beautiful. But in terms of story moments in Empire Strikes Back, I feel like they should have traded out this splash page for a splash page earlier where Vader is telling Luke that he is his father.
Mm-hmm.
They should have had, Luke kind of in the foreground bottom of the shot looking on, and Vader at the top reaching out, Luke, I am your father. In terms of storytelling, that pivotal moments, that would have made way more sense to me.
Yeah. I do love this frame, though.
It is beautiful. It just, story-wise, I don't like the decision.
Okay. Well, even Rex Gordon says in the Sky Chat, great splash. And then he says about our earlier comment about who's piloting the Falcon. Chewie is still Rey's co-pilot, too.
Maybe he just likes to be co-pilot, I mean...
Perhaps.
A lot, it's kind of like what we do.
Whenever you want to change up, you let me know.
Okay. No problem. I'd like to be in control.
So do I.
Yes, but when we ride the Millennium Falcon ride at Disneyland, I always want to be a pilot. What do you want to be?
I'd like to sit in the back because I just want to watch.
See?
I just want to watch.
I want to be in control of where we're going. Okay.
I think people just got to peek into our relationship.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right. Now, Luke falls off the weather vane, but is caught by the saucer-shaped smuggling ship. Luckily, he's falling down quite a bit.
He is. That's scary. Yeah, at this point, they don't even have time to go up under Luke.
Yeah.
They just see him falling and are like, diving, trying to catch him.
Just so happens the Millennium Falcon, or as they say, the saucer-shaped smuggling ship, happened to be right in the proximity.
Right.
All right. Leia asks a series of questions, which I'm so glad weren't in the film.
Here we go. Was Lando ready at the top hatch? Did we catch Luke all right? How far did he fall?
Who is she asking? Right now, save the questions, sweetheart, okay?
She's still in the pilot seat, right? So
Yeah.
she's, I guess, talking to Chewie.
But how does he know any more than she does?
Well, remember, is she on comms with Lando?
Uh-huh.
She's on comms with Lando, so maybe that's...
So then she would hear it too.
what she's asking?
Uh-huh. It's like Jack Skellington. What's this? What's this? I don't know. Let it play out. We don't know yet.
Huh.
Because if Chewie knows, then she's gonna know.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad that if this was in an earlier script, they didn't include it.
Yeah. Oh, wait, we have some comments
Oh,
from
okay.
the Sky Chat here.
Okay, all right.
Phil is weighing in. Says, splash page looks great, even in black and white. Oh, did
Black
you see
and
it
white?
in black and white?
Yeah, where did you see this in
Okay.
black and white? I want to know that.
I want to know too. And Downscale is asking, when I am the pilot on Smuggler's Run, do I prefer up or down or left or right? I like left and right. I think you have a little even more control.
Now, what side gets to
Left and
jump
right is the
into
left.
hyperspace?
That is the up and down side on that's the co-pilot seat.
Okay, so I the times when I do feel like I'm worthy,
Right.
I will jump in that seat because I want to do the whole jump into hyperspace and pulling those levers down.
That is a really cool moment. Yes. I like it.
The pilot seat, way too much stress. I can't take that much responsibility.
Thanks, Downscale. I'll be your co-pilot anytime. Yay.
All right, now, after Lando has reassured Leia that his people fixed the Falcon's hyperdrive, they try to escape, but to no avail. Mm-hmm. And does 3PO have the funniest line right here?
I think he does. Okay, so 3PO says to R2, "What do you mean? You know what's wrong. So do I. My foot isn't attached yet, and we're doomed because the hyperdrive engines are still malfunctioning." It's always about him.
Mm-hmm.
It's always about 3PO.
All right, you know what? He wants everyone to know where the priorities lie.
Yes, it's so funny.
That's such a line that Anthony Daniels would write.
Yeah, no
That's such an
kidding.
Anthony Daniels line.
Yes, it's so funny.
So once again, R2 races to save the day. He does something, and the Falcon lurches away to infinity and beyond.
Or almost. This is so cute, this narration, because I thought the same as you did. The narration says, and despite an incredible commotion in the repair hatch, Han Solo's freighter speeds away into infinity, ... and safety at last.
Oh, you were so
They
close,
were
Marvel. You
close.
were right there.
Oh, it's so cute, though. I love it.
To infinity and beyond.
Oh.
All right, now we cut to the bridge of Darth Vader's Star Destroyer. And do we see Steve Rogers anywhere?
Steve Rogers?
No? Okay, we saw Tony Stark earlier.
Oh, well, if you count Luke looking like Steve Rogers, maybe, but no, I know.
Now you're just reaching.
Yes, I am.
All right, Darth Vader turns from his terrified officers, walks slowly, as though focusing on another time, another place, perhaps the future. He's looking at his script to Revenge of the Jedi.
Yes.
He wants to know how this plays out.
Yes.
Sometime later, in a safe sector of space, Luke gets a new mechanized cybernetic hand. Now, instead of seeing it here in the comic, the narration just says it. Marvel, come on.
Yeah.
We're grown kids.
Mm-hmm.
We can see this.
Yeah, they show it in the film, so yeah, they should have shown a panel where Luke gets his new hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you're just reading the comic and didn't see the film, it's like, I know we kind of read in the narration that Luke loses a hand, but you know what? Show it. Don't say it.
Exactly.
All right, Lando says he and Chewie are ready to take off, and they will find Han. Luke, Leia, and the droids watch as the Falcon blasts off. And the narration reads, "Those left behind have many thoughts, many uncertainties, but for the moment, they have peace."
And the bottom reads, "End." Not the end, just end.
And for the first time, there's no preview title of the next issue. But you know what we do get?
What?
Another pinup gallery. we get 5 new artist interpretations like we did in the last issue.
That is awesome. But before we go there, we have some comments to read.
Oh, please.
From our Sky Chat. Okay. So Rex Gordon is weighing in and saying throughout this whole issue, why didn't Luke throw Vader some Hostess fruit pies? Then Luke and Vader could eat the pies and overthrow Palpatine because they get all their nourishment and they're ready to go.
Yeah, it's right there. It's right there in this issue. Did you not see the success Daredevil had? And in previous issues, Spider-Man had the same success. The Thing, the Hulk, they all solved big worldly problems with Hostess fruit pies. On occasion, a Twinkie or a cupcake.
Awesome. We love your comments.
Now, Downscale says in the Sky Chat, did someone say pinups? Not that kind of pinups.
No. But you're going to see some interesting ones. So shall we get into it?
Let's get into them.
Okay.
All right. This is the first pinup here. Boba Fett defends his prize by Al Williamson. And we see Boba Fett, he aims his blaster right at the reader, and it's a big starburst, like he's shooting at us.
Right.
And he's saying, not even you, reader, not even you will take Captain Solo.
And I just noticed this, but first of all, he's doing a lunge. A big lunge. I've been doing a lot of lunges lately in my Apple Fitness Plus, so I know what that looks like. So yeah, he's doing a lunge and like his cape is flowing behind him, and he looks like he has just put a disintegrating hole in a stormtrooper, which is felled right underneath him.
Well, Boba Fett wouldn't have done that.
No?
No, that would have been Luke.
Oh, okay, I guess so. Oh, yeah, I guess
this
so.
is the scene where Boba Fett is blasting at Luke.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
But in the film, we never saw any stormtroopers.
No. And, okay, so don't tell me they can't show Luke's hand getting cut off, but they show a stormtrooper with his chest gaping with a big blast puff of
pink smoke rises from his body.
Come on.
That is gory. And the inside of that big blast hole is all red. So come on, that's bloodshed there.
That's bad. Wow. But it's very dynamic. I like the
the flowing Boba Fett cape. Yeah. But what you don't see is Han and Carbonite.
No.
Even though this says Boba Fett defends his prize, that is the name.
This is Han. I think the slab that the stormtrooper's resting on.
like a gantry, like a bridge of some sort. That's more like a walkway.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no Han Solo there. Why would Boba Fett be standing on top of the carbon froze Han Solo?
Defending it, I guess.
Okay. You know what? We all see different things.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next.
Yes.
The next pinup. All right, this is patrolling the ice slopes of Hoth, and a heroic view of a Star Warrior and his Tauntaun by artist Joe Jusko, cover artist for the Hulk.
Oh, nice.
They want us to know that. Now, what we see here is Luke on his brown-furred, smiling Tauntaun, and yeah, he's smiling.
Oh my gosh.
Now they're standing dangerously close to the edge of that snowy cliff.
Yes.
Tauntaun, there are no handrails here either, okay? Be very careful. And Luke brandishes a blaster in one hand and his ignited lightsaber in the other. And from what I can tell, he doesn't have another lightsaber hanging off his belt.
That's good, although it would be on that side, so...
Oh, very true, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's odd. He's got his blaster in his right hand and the lightsaber in his left.
Yeah. Kind
of haphazardly aiming them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Maybe that's why the Tauntaun's smiling. Yeah, Wampa. You won't get us from an attack position now because we're standing on a cliff. We can see all angles.
It's very odd.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This next one.
And now for something completely different. Now, this is the only Monty Python reference I know.
Okay, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
All right. How do you explain this one here?
Okay, so this, you see Cloud City. It's almost a pop art, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or even, what's The Simpsons, right? It's like almost Simpsonized characters of...
The very...
cartoon characters.
Yeah. All right, now, this is illustrated by Fred Hembeck. He did a lot of parody issues of like Avengers and Marvel comics.
Okay.
It almost looks like Mad Magazine renderings, but he didn't work on Mad Magazine. But he did a lot of parodies of the Marvel characters. All right, now the captions here say, currently, some of the best humor work in comics is being done by Fred Hembeck. Being fans, we couldn't resist letting him bring his unique outlook to Empire and its cast.
Yeah, so we have a kind of almost a poster page here of you have the Cloud City in the background rendered in purple. You have the Cloud City reds through orange through yellow as the backdrop. And then in the foreground you have Darth Vader. And then beneath him are all our characters. You got Chewie, Han, Luke, Leia, and 3PO and R2 all in that cartoony form.
With big round anime eyes.
Yeah.
And there's 2 skulls in Darth Vader's
Oh,
eyes.
is that what that is? There are 2 skulls. Oh my gosh.
All right, what's missing from Chewbacca?
His
bandolier.
Bandolier.
Come on.
It's missing.
What is this, the Muppet Show all of a sudden?
Very odd. I like the use of color in it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it doesn't really depict Star Wars. Okay. Let's move on to the next one.
All right, here. Danger. Ugnaughts at work. Keep away. Played Cloud City style as Chewbacca tries to rescue C-3PO from a fiery finish. Rendered by Iron Man embellisher Tom Layton. They really want you to know the resume of these artists.
Well, I like that, actually. I like seeing that.
Now, Chewbacca looks like he did in the first 38 issues of the Star Wars comics, where he's just this big, giant, very shaggy Sasquatch.
Yeah, he's not tall and lanky at all. He's just he's got this giant arm, and his head doesn't look like Chewie. That's very weird.
But you know what? He's wearing a bandolier.
Yes.
So here we see Ugnaughts throwing 3PO's head. They're all playing keep away.
All right. It's kind of a darker one, too. Very dark.
But I don't see any IG-88 in the background.
No.
Someone didn't do their research. All right. This last one. Laser fire at the landing platform. Leia, Lando, Chewbacca, and the droids battle their way aboard the Millennium Falcon as seen by Marshall Rogers.
Oh.
There's no resume piece for him here.
No, we don't know what he did.
But this is an interesting one because there's like laser blasts coming from every single direction.
Yes.
From high, from low.
Yeah, it almost looks like, when you're trying to steal a piece of art and there's the lasers all crossing
Right.
the thing, and you have to like duck and weave
underneath and
yeah
to
not trip the wires. Yeah.
So maybe the Millennium Falcon is in this laser trap. It's surrounded by lasers. So if anyone were to enter the Falcon, the Empire would be notified.
Do you have a favorite of these?
Well, it's certainly not that Monty Python one.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the first one. I have to say.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Boba Fett defends his prize.
Yeah, this is my favorite. I love the way Boba Fett is illustrated, the way he's colored, the way he's shooting. He's acknowledging us, the reader.
Yeah.
Not only is he acknowledging us, he's shooting us.
Right. It's like the fourth wall breaking. So yeah, I do like that. Good pinup for Boba Fett.
All right, now let's talk about our favorite panels from this issue.
Yay!
All right, so Sarah, what is your favorite panel?
All right, this is in page 12 of the comic. It is when Luke has decided that he's not going to join Vader, but instead he is going to fall all the way down, down, down to Cloud City. And I really like that it's an overhead shot angle, right? And so Vader's kind of looking down and Luke is falling, and it looks like the poster of, what is that movie?
I want to say Vertigo.
Hitchcock. No, it's not. Is it Vertigo? It's one of the Hitchcock movies.
Vertigo.
It's either Vertigo or it's the one I get confused with. I don't remember his name right now, but yeah. I think it's like the Vertigo poster. Yeah, Luke is like, yeah. So I really like this one.
I like it because Vader's saying, join me. Luke is jumping and saying, never!
Yeah. Yeah, as his little red form, that looks like Vertigo is falling. So it's very cute. All right, what about you?
All right, I am going to go with, let's say, on page 14, we have that splash page as the Millennium Falcon is racing back to Cloud City and is swarmed by 5 TIE fighters. We see 2 TIE fighters very close to us and 3 TIE fighters are blasting away from Cloud City. And I love the dark clouds that streak and it cuts the page in half.
Yeah.
And it almost looks like it's raining.
Okay. Yeah, it's also adding motion to the page too, giving that Falcon a trajectory.
Yeah.
As well.
And once again, they're using steam and smoke to cover up a lot of the page, so they don't need to draw it.
Mm-hmm.
But past the clouds, it does look like it is raining. And
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking at that going, oh, what if it was raining in the film? That would add so much dramatic tension to the scene.
That'd be cool.
So that is my favorite panel. Now let's talk about best use of color.
All right. Well, I'm going to go to page 7, where the gang meet up with R2 in the Cloud City hallways. And you got this beautiful use of this golden floor. And it's almost like an Art Deco floor with nice lines drawing you. And the blue walls. And you have R2 in the foreground on the gold floor, but he's in blue. And you have Leia and Chewie and 3PO and Lando in the background against the blue wall, but they're in like silhouetted black and yellow. So you have this nice dichotomy, and the narration is also in yellow. So I really think that the color here is beautiful.
Look at the walls here. They're blue.
Yeah.
And they saved a lot of time and money when they were shooting Empire by painting the walls an orange or a blue just to give you more of a sense of the lighting scheme.
Oh, cool.
Like at night, you would see the walls were more of a bluish.
Okay.
And so when I moved into this house,
Yes.
I painted all my walls a light blue or a light orange just to give you that Cloud City feel.
And it's very, very calming. I love it. All right, for you, Richard, what is your favorite use of color?
I would say page 8. We see stormtroopers are being blasted by Leia and Chewie and Lando, and the stormtroopers are silhouetted in red. And the ones in the foreground who aren't being blasted, they're the normal color scheme. No silhouette here, but the ones who are being blasted are in red.
Yeah.
I just love that red danger symbolic color usage.
Yeah.
Even downscale in the Sky Chat says, that is awesome.
He's probably saying that is awesome to your painting the walls.
Oh.
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah. Either way, it's cool.
Okay, going back to your use of color with R2 in the foreground. Downscale also says in the Sky Chat, R2 is standing in the foreground like, I ain't getting caught like these fools. He's gonna keep his distance.
Yeah.
I'll be over here.
Yep. Aw, that's funny.
All right, now before we wrap up, we gotta go back to the Star Words column.
That's right.
Every issue, they have a Star Words column, and this is the column where readers and fans could write into Marvel and give them their points of view, their likes, their dislikes, and their personal address.
Yes, and so you read them and decide which of these we should read.
Now, the Star Wars column here starts off with a word from Archie Goodwin, who announces that he'll be stepping down as the editor of the Star Wars comic.
Ooh.
Apparently, his job as editorial director on Epic Illustrated is taking way too much of his time. But he leaves the series in the hands of Louise Jones and Danny Fingeroth.
Wow.
Now, there's a few more stories in the can from Archie Goodwin, but I'm eager to see how the comics after his departure are going to play out.
Oh, yeah, me too. Cool.
All right, now let's get to the actual letter, the actual letters. Okay.
All right, can I read this one?
Oh, please.
All right, this is from Greg the Big G Green. Dear Archie, Glynis Wein's colors are, in a word, tough.
Yeah, no, let's stop right there.
Yeah. What does that mean?
That means, like Nuff said.
Oh.
They're tough. But I love the fact that he's calling out Glynis Wine's colors. And we've really fallen in love with her color scheme and her interpretation of these scenes.
Yeah.
So let's give a moment to really acknowledge her work here.
Yeah. Okay. Greg goes on. The artistic pencils of Al Williamson and Carlos Garzón are the best I've ever seen. Al and Carlos really have the characters looking like themselves. This is a vast improvement over issues number 1 through 38.
Yeah, know what, Greg? I agree with you.
Yeah, especially Chewie. All right, he goes on. A character who caught my attention originally in a televised Star Wars Thanksgiving special, or was it Christmas, was Boba Fett. Some small tremor in the Force that Boba Fett will have a big part to play in the series after issue number 44. Very true. I'm so sure that I believe Lando and Chewie will not find Han Solo because Jabba will kill him.
Oh, he's making some predictions for Revenge of the Jedi.
Yes. Luke will be drawn over to the dark side, become prince to the Imperial throne, and don a mask to hide his boyish looks. Distraught over the loss of the rebellion's two most gallant heroes, Princess Leia finds new hope in Lando Calrissian, who is taught to use the Force by none other than Oops! Almost gave away a subplot from The Revenge of the Jedi. Wow,
Now,
Greg.
After...
Wait a minute. This is from Greg, the Big G Green, 1234 South 15th Street, Louisville, Kentucky, 40210.
Okay, so if anyone wants to reach out to Greg the Big G Green and ask him about this, it's right there. Now, when he says Lando Calrissian, who was taught to use the Force by none other than and then stops right there.
I think he meant Boba Fett.
He meant Boba Fett because
Yeah.
Fantastic Films, that magazine, had an article that Boba Fett was Luke's brother or mother.
What?
Remember we did that
Yes.
panel?
With Craig Miller.
With Craig Miller, the classic
Rumors panel.
the what's it called? Crazy rumors
Yeah.
of Star Wars.
Right. The rumors panel.
Yeah, so I think Greg was calling back to that article from Fantastic Films.
Wow.
That thought maybe Boba Fett was going to teach Lando, which was never a rumor right there.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's Greg's own rumor mill.
Wow.
All right, so Marvel responded and said, no one really knows what's going to happen except for George L. himself, and he ain't telling. Your guess is as good as anybody's, just don't use it as security when you're taking out a loan to start up a spice mine.
What?
Okay, can I say something controversial?
Okay.
Hey, Archie Goodwin, we're sorry that you're leaving, but maybe it's best that you leave. Yeah, with lines like that, that's what I meant earlier when I said, I wonder how the stories will play out after Archie leaves. Maybe they'll get a little bit better.
Okay.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I think what he's referring to is like, hey, when you're going to get a loan for a spice mine, don't use the plot points of Revenge of the Jedi to secure a loan.
Okay.
Very roundabout.
Okay.
It took me 43 years to figure that out.
I still don't get it, but okay.
It's still not good.
Wow.
Is that a good place to end this discussion?
I think so. Well, that was very fun. And we finally finished out The Empire Strikes Back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Next issue is going to be Death Probe, when Marvel gets to expand the Star Wars universe like they had done previously. And we had done this issue at Long Beach Comic-Con. So much fun. Coming soon.
Yeah, so you'll see a live video of us. Yeah.
And go to Emerald City Comic-Con, where you can hopefully see us do another classic Marvel Star Wars comics live panel.
Skywalking through classic Marvel.
Well, that wraps up episode 439 of
Skywalking Through Neverland. As a sneak peek, we're going to be starting our salute to the Star Wars Holiday Special in November by talking with artist John Celestri, who was an animator for the Faithful Wookiee short.
Woohoo! I'm excited about that.
I'm very, very excited about this. And he just released a book just breaking down all of his animation, and that's already in transit.
Oh, good.
I
Okay.
ordered a book, and I just got the shipping notice this morning.
Oh, fun.
Cannot wait for this.
Yes.
And we want to thank all you Skywalkers for watching our live YouTube recording, for listening to the show, for commenting in the Sky Chat, and for everything that you do.
Yes, we love it. Now, are you interested in our books? Autographed copies of Today in Star Wars History, Part 1 and 2, and Skywalking Through My Fandom, an interactive notebook, are available now from skywalkingthroughneverland.com/book. And there's other ways to support us too. You can consider supporting us through the Skywalking Force, which is our Patreon. And if you become a part of that, you have access to bonus content in the form of our Zoom discussions. We also have some special Skywalking Force parties, like Zoom parties. And also you get a coupon code to use for our books. And that bonus content begins at only $5 a month. So head to skywalkingforce.com and have a look at the options available. Thank you so much to those of you who are already part of the Skywalking Force.
Now, we want to thank our sponsor once again, Small World Vacations, for their support. Thinking of a trip to a Disney park? Well, you can fill out a Get a Quote form at smallworldvacations.com today. Their vacation planning service is free of charge, so check it out and tell them Skywalking Through Neverland sent you.
Now, we are part of the Skywalking Network,
Skynet,
where you can find other great shows like Talking Apes,
the Neverland Clubhouse,
the Max Effects Podcast,
Star Warsologies,
Totally Tell Me Everything,
and the YouTube shows Collectopolis and Today in Star Wars History.
You can find us on social media. Wherever we are either at Skywalking Pod or you can search Skywalking Through Neverland. And on our Facebook group, you can request to join. And there we post like the covers of these Marvel comments, of these Marvel comics, and we get your oh my gosh. And we post your
comments from the cover art.
Yes.
And we read them right here during the show.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, don't forget to stick around for bloopers and other fun bits that didn't make it into the show.
And always remember,
Neverland on Alderaan. Hey, look at those names to the left. They are part of the Skywalking Force, our Patreon.
Become a producer yourself and check out all the Disney Plus themed bonus content available depending on the level you subscribe.
Become a member of the elite Skywalking Force at skywalkingforce.com.